Hi, my name is Alejandro Pérez Pérez, and this is the AI Coffee Podcast. Every 2 weeks, you will have one disruptive aspect of technology and artificial intelligence for the time you drink a cup of coffee. Today, we are going to discuss about human resources, about skilling, and about artificial intelligence. And for doing so, we have a guest. Welcome, Lejla.
Thank you, Alejandro. Pleased to be here.
Lejla Ibralic Halilovic is an expert in organizational development, human resources, and artificial intelligence for public services. Wow, I think we are going to open the Pandora box today because human resources and skilling and artificial intelligence are really broad and interesting topics. But before we start talking about this, Lejla, I wanted to start our conversation knowing more about you and about your personal story. So, the first thing I have in mind is if you could share with us and with the audience your journey about how you were interested into the field of human resources and also about the field of artificial intelligence.
Okay, thank you. Well, my younger me was more interested in mathematics, physics, technologies, and languages. So if you had asked me some years ago, I was said no way, like in human resources. So I started with studying technical mathematics in Vienna, at the University of Vienna. And then made a 180 degrees switch to sociology, where I came across with this system theory from Luhmann. I also finished a bachelor's degree there, and then started working at the Semantic Technology Institute International. And this was the first time where I got in touch with semantic web ontologies, future of internet. Even at that time, I was more into event management, so it was more. I was not so deep into these topics. Um, then my kid got born. I got a daughter, and after that, I started studying human resources and organizational development at again at the University of Vienna. Um, and when I finished that, I started working as a project manager for IT projects, for organizational IT projects. And here I developed more skills and also the interests for humans, because it was really interesting to see the patterns that humans have in teams, and that humans have in organizations. Um, 3 years ago, I started at the public hospital in Lower Austria, and I'm working as organizational development and human resourcer here at the level of the hospital. And some of the topics that I do are the support of the leaders, which we have in the hospital, strategical and financial planning of further education, the recruiting processes, and talent management. So this is my story, how I came from the more technical point to the human resource.
And are you happy? Well, you look at this background and this, your past, that you did this journey from the technical to the human resource perspective. Are you happy now thinking about maybe your skills that you got from this technical perspective at the beginning coming now to your present?
Yes, because we met at the Masters of AI for Government, and so this is also I'm happy with combining these things, because I think this is a very a skill set that we need. I mean, I cherish it for me, because I think for me it's very interesting and very useful to, on the one side, to understand the technology, not in the deep, of course, because time is always an aspect. And on the other hand, understand the humans and what they need. And this is something that we need not only in AI, implementing AI, but in every technology that we're implementing, trying to understand the users, how they use what they need, what does the organization need, what does the customers need, and on the other hand, talk to the developers with the designers in order to get the best output.
Mhm. It is very interesting this perspective to be like a hybrid, right, from the human perspective and also the technical perspective, and that's also maybe why you are maybe so interested into the mix of that. And as you said before, we met at the master at the AI for Golf master, as many guests in this podcast, and that feels so natural because we are this kind of people that are maybe I mean, we like technology. We think that we are maybe optimistic about AI and how everything could be benefiting for humanity, but also we are aware that this humanistic perspective around is very necessary. So yeah, I get your point. I will also connect with the next question. So I also wanted to know what experiences do you have in integrating AI into human resource processes, and also the challenges that you could get or you could saw when trying to do this. Because I mean, we are going to talk a lot about that, but there's like a lot of ethical questions all around. So I'm thinking, can you maybe explain us a little bit your perspective?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Working in the public also means that some things and developments are not happening that fast as you have in the private companies. I will refer to my current position and the health agency of Lower Austria. So here we didn't have any AI implementation into HR processes yet, at least not that I am aware of. Yeah. I know that there are some projects regarding the recruitment process. I mean, we have like the standard online um, applications that are coming in, but as far as I know, all our applications are viewed by the people, by the humans themselves. Maybe some kind of simple sorting out, but not none algorithms that are behind this. So I would not have much expertise here in this part, where I am dealing with some, I say, troubles, or where I see chances for AI implementations are, as I mentioned before, I'm dealing with strategic and financial planning for further education, because the people working in the health sector, like the health care professionals, doctors, healthcares, and medical assistants, they are a subject of um, strict legal requirements that they need to fulfill for to work in the health sector. So which this means that when they start working at, or before they start working, we need to prove their diplomas, their certificates, and even after that, they need to ensure, and we need to ensure, that they are constantly doing some further education. And as you can imagine, just like for like a number, this is one of many hospitals in Lower Austria, and we have about 1,800 people working there. So it's a large amount of data and information that we need to deal with. And as we all know, the money in the public sector are not that that big. So we need to plan that very very well. And I see a large of potentials here, where we can use the AI to make some pro predictions, to see how where we are going, to have some forecasts for the next years, and where AI can support us in the planning. So the challenge, because you asked me what I see the challenges actually start with the data. So we have a lot of information, but not in that form that we can use it efficiently in order to make the next steps.
That's true. That data is usually a requirement for AI that is not obvious, even in the private sector where I'm working. Sometimes it's not obvious to have this data to start working with, and I see really often that AI now is a trendy word. Well, actually, two words, but I mean, like a trendy concept, and everyone wants to use AI and apply AI everywhere. But firstly, a big effort on having a structured data is usually required, and it's very important what you say. And I mean, talking about data, do you think? I mean, you know that how important it is, but you mentioned that usually you think that you should start working on that. Uh, do you think there are things being done for being creating these databases and so on?
I'm sorry, I didn't
Yes,
understand
I
the
mean,
question.
do you think that there are projects already done in order to work with the data to create these databases to start working on for maybe later on working with AI?
Yeah. I mean, generally talking about it, not specifically for the organization that I'm currently working with. I think that at least in Austria, there are some movements and also
Mhm.
political decisions to go this way. And I think this is the right decision. It's a digitalization project, and I would assume that that people are working on this. So I hope that we will see the fruits in the next couple of years.
Great, great. So let's open the Pandora box, as I said before, talking about AI in human resources, the main topic in this for this podcast. So I have one question to start the conversation, Leila, and it is like if you could explain the role of AI in improving talent acquisition and management.
Okay. Um, I mean, the role of AI, maybe a general statement from my side first. As in my point of view, AI is a tool which we can use in different fields. And if it's designed and planned correctly, it has great potential to support humans, to support us in our daily work and also life. So also the current discussions around AI with risks and threats, they're all needed in order to reflect the development of AI taking more space in our societies. So this is because the role of AI is, as I see it, as a tool, yeah, primarily. Um, but regarding the specific question for improving talent acquisition and management, then again, I would like to go a step further and say, okay, the talent acquisition, yeah, it's a topic in organizations, but the core of this topic starts somewhere else. It starts in the education system. So the question is, where can we start? And I see that we have a huge, as I said, huge potential to use AI throughout this life cycle of talents and potentials, and not only in the organizations that need this developed talents that they want to recruit for the work, but also before. So it could be to implement AI, to use it in this educational system, maybe also to have a check. um, I see the possibility to have a check. Okay, what skills do the workforce need, and how can we make maybe an interaction with the educational system, not to have smaller gaps when people start working. In general, for the AI improving the talent, I mean, there are some um, within the organization. I see the potential where um, when people talk to each other and I say, okay, I have something, I did a course, or I did a education, or I'm interested in this or that. And this information is, you can hear it, maybe it's written somewhere, but it's lost. And at some point of time, you have maybe you need the skills and you don't know that you have them. So there I see them. I mean, it's a kind. Again, it starts with the data, collecting the data, having the data, and then having some smart systems and having the AI telling, hey, there is something here. There are some skills, that are some talents that you can use, and these talents could be, also predicting, okay, if you put these and these skills together, you will have this in the end. So there is a big potential, but the role of AI is, as I said, the supportive one that I see.
Yes, I do agree with you that AI is a tool, and usually we forget, and it's not the end, it's not the purpose, it's a tool. So a very powerful tool nowadays, but it's like other tools we had in past. So yes, and also I will also I was thinking while preparing this interview, if you could provide also like an idea of how artificial intelligence, how can it enhance the human center design approach in human resources, because I mean, you just said that it's very important to have a human at the core of all the processes, even though you could have some automation somehow, but at the end of the day it's important to have a human.
Yeah,
But can you maybe expand the humanity of this human while
yeah.
using artificial intelligence? Is it possible?
I mean, I would say AI per se is not able to do it, but the question is how the technology is designed. So you can, if you put the human centered design into developing the AI tool, uh, it will bring it with, it will evolve like this. Um, on the other hand, you can, maybe, I mean, I never thought of that really deeper, but you could um, use the AI for the humans to keep the human centered thought while they are working, and while they are making their decisions, while they are screening some CVs,
Hmm.
just to have maybe some kind of interaction between the human and the AI, which reminds the human of, yeah, but have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? What are the risks? Are you fair? Are you inclusive in your decisions? And here it could, I see some potential.
Hmm.
And also, of
Yeah.
course, I mean, one more thing. Um, we have, humans, especially people working for longer time in public sector, tend to, you know, be more involved in the bureaucratical processes and see that very strictly. Um, so there is also the potential of AI to like maybe open up again and see more the human, and not this bureaucratic process that we are dealing with all the time.
Yes, it has a lot of sense, right? To let's say to let the professional, the person, the human resource, like person, human, to work with humans and not to do a lot of bureaucratic steps. And yeah, this part maybe is the part that should be automatized. And even if an AI could do all of these bureaucratic steps, that's fantastic. So you could have more time to deal with these important questions for inclusivity, diversity, and yeah, it means I think it has a lot of sense for me. But there's also talking about inclusion. I think this is a very important issue sometimes in organization, and I see very often, for example, in technology, that most of the organizations are mostly composed by men and not by women, for example. And there is a gender gap there, and there is also many other gaps that could come from, and not so. I mean, there's like many reasons, of course, but one could be that the acquisition process maybe is biased. So do you think that AI also could be relevant at this step for helping the person in charge of that to to have a reminder, as you said a little bit, or I mean, do you think there is also, I mean, how can you think or imagine an AI that could work on that?
Talking about um, diversity in companies, and also trying to lower different gaps, as you said. Is it like the age gap, the gender gap, the literacy gap? Um, so I mean, we're trying to get rid of the bias, and I mean the machines are learning from us. So this is really difficult. I mean, we'll see how it evolve and how we can teach the systems to get less biased than we are, and because they are. It says, okay, the human. Okay, did I have a bad day? How did everything is influencing my um, how I'm seeing, hearing things, and how I make decisions during the day. So yeah, there is a potential. I would say. I mean, we need to check how we develop the AI systems that we're using in within this field. But another part which I see is not more in the decision of the people who are making decisions start start working with people, with other people that are not maybe within this standard picture that they have. But here is again, I see the potential in this life cycle. So we start with the educational system, where you can say, okay, you can provide AI tools for people that have different needs, yeah, so they can develop skills. So they are not in the standard, and I mean, the kids today, they they do use different tools, and they do it really with a joy. And there are so many things that can be used in order to support them and support people that have different needs to gain the skills, or to do some things that they maybe have not been able to do without this technology. So this is one step. The next step is within the organizations. I just only like thinking about Chat GPT, and maybe people that have dyslexia, or some kind of other difficulties, which can use Chat GPT just to correct their sentences and say, okay, I have a tool that is supporting me here. So we're not per se saying, okay, someone with some kind of special needs is not able to do this kind of work, but we can provide them with technology that can support them in order to do this. So this is where I see a potential.
Yeah, very very interesting points you mentioned, and you mentioned also the fact of skilling gaps. That I think it's also a very relevant point sometimes, because well, I usually read in the news everywhere that even though there is, for example, in Spain, there is like a lot of people looking for a job. On the other hand, there is like a lot of empty positions that are not easy to get a person for this position, right? So I think skilling is a very relevant point nowadays, and because of ICTs and AI and everything, now everything changes really quickly, and many more new position roles and people are needed. But how can we do that? Do you think that AI could be a very good way to achieve the goal of making this gap like shorter? And also, can you talk maybe an example that work well with by using AI?
Um, well, to reduce the gap, the skilling. Um, well, I think if you just look at, there are so different, there are already different tools which can help you to do some profiling, to see, okay, what do I do, what can I do, what is my knowledge, what are my skills, and to help the individual to see, okay, where am I standing at the moment, yeah. And the next step would probably be to make some suggestions for the individual. Say, okay, you're here. Maybe you can, we compare you to like some standard profiles, and in order to get there, you need to, fulfill um, some criteria.
Mhm.
So that would be on the side of the individual, either outside or inside the organization, and within the organizations as well, just to see, okay, as I said before, to have some kind of skills mapping, yeah, and say, okay, before I go outside the organization and look for some expert specialists with these skills assets, um, let's take a look inside to within the organization and see what do I have and what's the gap that I need to get there. So maybe it's easier to get someone from the outside with the lower requirements and develop the people that are inside. And this is actually also the human resource development that should be able we we should be able to do. And of course, if you have a small team, you can do it easily. If you have a big organization and you're trying to manage your skills on a different level, you don't have this nearness to the individuals. So you need the data, you need the information in order to do so. So that was one question, and the second question, I would like maybe you can repeat it again.
Yes, I'm doing many questions together. Maybe it's a problem, but I was thinking if you could provide an example, a real example that comes to your mind while talking, for example, into big organizations, maybe in the public sector, something that you might have known, like that works well into working against this gap.
Working against the gap. Okay. Um, I can,
So, for example, I
yeah,
was thinking, Leila, maybe I don't know if you know, for example, Enzo's master thesis.
yeah, thank
I
you.
think maybe you were also thinking about that. So there is a very good example. Enzo Maria. Well, he was, I guess, also in this podcast in the episode number 21. So I invite people to listen this episode after this one. But maybe Leila, I think this is a very interesting example into how an artificial intelligence model could help for a big organizations to actually to understand the talent they have, and also to be more realistic about the skills everyone has. So I don't know if you can say something. Yeah,
Yeah,
go on.
thank you. Yeah, I remember the presentation, and I was really, I was amazed of how actually a simple thing that could be made. I think he was collecting the data of people who were visiting some meetings, and was comparing the topics with the skills set that they were known for the people that were within these meetings. And according to that, they gained some information about, okay, so we have more talent and more skills that we actually were aware of. So this could be something that can be used. I mean, within our sector, it's a bit difficult because you have people, doctors and nurses. They don't really use the Outlook calendar for their meetings. Um, but I mean, I know of project. It was it's a public project that didn't go really well. I mean, it's a maybe a it was uh, um, the Organization for Employment in
Mhm.
Austria, which used an algorithm to analyze which people, according to the algorithm, would have more chances to get a job or not. Um, so, and it was very criticized because of the ethical aspects here, and also because I think it was not really clear what kind of algorithm was behind this. So if we turn this and say, okay, if it's implemented correctly, yeah, If maybe people are not, not when people are in charge, it's even better. So to say, okay, I decide for myself. I want to get a profile analysis. I want to put in my data into the system. Yeah, I want to collect everything, and I want the program to give me some suggestions, as I know it. For example, in an Amazon store, you like this, maybe you would like this as well, because you have the algorithm behind it. And maybe just thinking about my master's thesis, if I can connect here, was actually the idea to collect all the skills and the certificates, but to do it in a way where people can manage it for themselves. So you are the master, the individual is the master of the data. Yeah, they decide. The data is collected. They at the moment they are in different institutions and different authorities, but I have a platform where all my certificates are there, and I have the possibility to share it, and maybe at some point also to develop an algorithm to say, okay, you have this skill set and it is near to this one, you would only need one more certificate and you would have this. Or say, okay, you see, I don't know, in some regions, because although in some regions of Austria, we have a gap of skills in, I don't know, in a specific medical field. Would you not like to, upgrade your skills and maybe take a job there,
Hmm.
So yes, and we have ethical aspects there. We have, what's happening if people move from one region to another. If they we have lack of people in some regions, and others are overcrowded with talents. And how can we manage this? But this is where I see a great potential, especially for the public services.
Yeah, it is true that the certificates question is usually very relevant. At least, I mean, in the healthcare sector, it is very relevant because you need a certificate for being, I don't know, a doctor, a nurse, or because you need to have a X specific certificate. But also in many other fields, such as, for example, in IT, I mean, I'm used to know about many certificates, for example, from Microsoft, from Amazon, from many other tools, and there are so many sometimes that even for people working in this area, it is very complicated to understand which a specific certificate could be interested now, because it also happens that maybe in 2023 one specific certificate is needed, but it's not anymore needed in 2024 because the market has changed, and it's very complicated. So it could be really interesting to have something, as you mentioned in your in your master thesis, that could suggest you uh, like different paths for your career and different options. So, and also I think it's very very interesting because it could also be interesting to be in like in learning from your side what do you want to do, because sometimes you don't even know exactly like the different options that you could do. So it could be really relevant. So I wish that you could complete the I mean, after the master thesis, you could complete the like something like that in a real project, because I think it could be really relevant. So Leila, talking about next steps, the future use cases, how do you see the future of AI in human resources in the future? Like, I mean, how do you see it in maybe, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years? How do you see it?
Well, I hope that we will have the possibility to implement AI technologies. I hope that we will maybe, yeah, also have the possibility to work on the development of AI technologies, not just to implement some different, but and I that would be, I mean, I see it coming. It's already, warming up. We're getting there. But actually, my wish would be to involve more people that are really working on everyday basis to involve them in the design process. So that would be really really nice. And I see AI for the like in the first steps for implementing. I see it in the um, recruitment processes, especially there where we have a large amount of data coming in, which we need to deal with, and to support the people in checking the skill set, choosing the candidates that we want to invite for the next steps. And one more thing, one aspect that we didn't mention yet was not only thinking about the human resources and AI in the human resources, but also um, AI being implemented in different areas. Yeah, also in the public health, and the skill set that the humans will need in order to work with the AI. So we have this next dimension coming in here. So we will probably also need to develop some schemes in order to check, okay, what are the people, what do the people need, expect, the beside of the like the medical certificate. I need someone maybe that is able to at least a little bit understand what is AI, yeah, and what are the ethical aspects, some basic skills that they need. So we will need probably um, to check these things as well.
Mhm. Yes, obviously, because it is like, for example, when computers arrived. I mean, it's not the same just like buying computers and putting everywhere. You need people to be trained and to be aware what they are using, and the limits of it. So I think for AI, it's more or less the same point. The only difference is that computers were little by little appearing, and now AI, it feels like, wow, 1 year to the next one, everything has changed, and it's very complicated. That, I mean, doctors, for example, could be reskilled in so a tiny amount of time. So yeah,
Yeah.
really, really, really good point.
But
And
again, you can use AI for training.
for training about
Yeah,
AI, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That would be really, really a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leila, we are almost finishing. So I would like you to give a piece of advice to someone who maybe wants to follow a little bit your journey, your career, your steps. So coming, for example, from the technical background, then going more little by little into human resources. That now with all the context of AI, what piece of advice would you give to a person in this situation?
Um, I know that many young people are more keen on like doing some fast courses, online. Um, what I prefer, and I would really also like to advise people, is to really invest in an basic academic education. It doesn't mean to be like high level, but um, bachelor for human resources or organizational development if you're coming from the technical part, or and I know from people coming from the non-technical part, it's always a okay, to deep dive into technology, it's not really maybe an option. In that case, I would really recommend the AI for government masters, because I think it's really it has a broaden aspect of different areas. We have the technology, we have the design, we have the ethical aspects. So this is something that I would really really recommend.
And I will also add that it's also good because you meet interesting people such
Right.
as
Of course.
Leila, for example. So yeah, really also a good point. Okay, and we are almost at the end of the episode, Leila. Just two questions that I usually ask together at the end. So the first one is, how can the audience contact you if they want to talk with you, to, I don't know, to share with you their ideas about HR and AI? And also, what is your favorite type of coffee? As you know, this is the AI Coffee podcast, and coffee is one of the main points as well. So yeah, it would be good to know.
Oh, this is great questions. To contact me, it's the easiest way is on LinkedIn. I assume that you will put my name spelled correctly in some subject of the podcast. So just copy paste it into LinkedIn and then send me a request. I love to connect and to exchange and to get inspired by all ideas and everything what is out there. Um, and yeah, also thank you so much for inviting me to be here today, even if we had some technical issues at the beginning. And the last question, my favorite coffee. Um, in Austria, they say black as the night. So the coffee that I prefer is not that short, a bit longer, black one, and I like it hot.
I like very much the expression "black as the night." Yeah, because I also like dark coffee, black coffee without any milk or something like that. That's my favorite, and I haven't never used this kind of expression, but I will do it because I feel like really like very dark, very, yeah, very strong. Yeah, I like it.
You like your strong as well.
Yeah, I like it strong as
Yeah,
well. Yeah, it depends on the moment of the day, but for example, in the morning, every time it should be dark. Yeah, very
yeah.
strong.
No, I what I never have been able to drink is coffee with sugar. It's a paradox for me.
At the beginning I did, but little by little I was getting used to drink without sugar, and now, for example, I cannot even like imagine. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Leila, we are finishing. So thank you very much. I think your story and your thoughts were really inspiring and valuable. So I really enjoyed. So I hope you also did. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I really did. Thank you very much, and thank you for being patient with my technology here.
But we did it. We did it.
We
So
did it. We
everything
made
was
it.
fine at the end, and that's the magic of the podcast, that it's not in live. So then with the post production, everything is going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
So don't
yeah.
worry
The
for that.
process. The process is important.
Great.
Thank you very much. I was really pleased to be here. Thank you.
Great. And also thank you to you that you are still listening to us. You are looking at this fantastic video. So thank you very much for being one more week with us. Please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't done it yet. Give me 5 stars or like or whatever, depending on the platform you are. And see you next time. Bye bye.